Welcome back, everyday Americans. You've rejoined the Constitution study. I'm glad you could come back here today. As I promised, I have Trent Talbot from Brave Books, and we're going to talk a little bit about not just about Brave Books, but some of the things that they've been doing to help, well, promote good literature in America. Trent, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me.
So I don't know if many of my listeners are aware of Brave Books. I actually have met the team before at one of the events. Tell us a little bit about Brave Books and what it's all about.
Yeah, we are I would call us a Christian publishing company that makes um, imaginative, fun stories for kids that doesn't just entertain them, but that builds their character while doing so. So much of what's out there, is actually teaches harmful ideas. But even the stuff that doesn't actively promote harmful ideas, it really is just fluff that entertains kids. We think that kids' imaginations are powerful, and that whenever you engage their imaginations, it's a incredible opportunity to promote values that build their character, like hard work, honesty, service, and the sanctity of life. The reality that boys are boys and girls are girls, things like that. You know, so that's what we're about, is just building kids' character through story.
Yeah, you talk about there's bad stuff and there's good stuff, but you got kind of the junk food in the middle
Yeah.
that doesn't really build anything. It's just there. So originally, we reached out because of this program you've started that actually started with Kirk Cameron and his book. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and then tell us about See You at the Library?
Yeah. One of the most rewarding things that we do at Brave Books, we've been around for about 4 years. We launched in 2021. Um, in the around Christmas 2022, Kirk Cameron launched a book with us, and he wanted to go do a story hour, because this is when drag queen story hours were everywhere. And so we went after 52 publicly funded libraries that had sponsored and hosted drag queen story hours. And we asked, hey, can Kirk Cameron come and do a story hour on the fruits of the spirit? And they all said no, and it became a national story. We ended up protesting these libraries, claiming that it was a First Amendment violation. They backed down. They had Kirk, and we had thousands and thousands of people show up at all these story hours. And went on a little bit of a tour for about 4 or 5 months, and then Kirk was kind of tired. We were tired. We're like, all right, well, what if we took this whole momentum, this awareness, and this need to this desire from the public, from America loving, God loving citizens across the country to restore wholesome stories in our public spaces. And we gave it back to the people. And so we came up with this idea where in a Saturday in August, we have we have parents, grandparents host their own wholesome story hours across the country. The first year was in 2023 that we did it, and we had around 150 story hours across the country. Last year we had over 360, and that covered all 50 states. This year we hope to do over 500, and it just keeps growing and growing. And it's just a cool movement that's really started thanks to Kirk and him carrying the torch for so long.
I love the idea rather than simply seeing something as bad and banning it, replace it with something good.
Yeah.
It's the answer to bad speech is not censorship, it's good speech. And that's what I liked about the idea is we're not simply going to complain, but we're going to find how can we do something? How can we move in and spread this word? Like I said, drag queen story hour. I just wrote an article about the Supreme Court case with the Maryland was it Montgomery County School Board indoctrinating children in LGBT and whatnot. So yeah, you have a library, publicly funded library, taxpayer dollars, happy with drag queens, but not with Christians. Kind of tells you a lot about our public sector. So you said there's a date in August. I did check out the website, August 16th. And
Yes.
what should people what should people expect when if they participate, and how could they find out more and actually engage?
Yeah, the best place to go is seeyouatthelibrary.com. And there you can RSVP for a story hour that's already being hosted near you, or you can go and you can learn how to host your own story hour, and you can help be a part of, this movement of hosting wholesome story hours that build character and promote, Christian values, in our public libraries across the country.
Too often I'm also a part-time preacher, so I speak at several different churches, and I've seen frequently this complaining about what's going on, but a lack of a desire to actually engage. And that's really what you're talking about here is Christians saying, no, we're not going to be second class citizens. We have a right, and we merely want the opportunity to show. And the book of Peter, you know, let them ask us why we are, why we're happy, why we love. I love the idea. Now, of course, um, so if someone wants to host, they go there. What's expected? I mean, other than showing up and reading.
Yeah, yeah. There's a little bit more to it. I mean, that's the core of it. You have to register with your library, so we walk you through how to do that and any obstacles that can get in the way, but that's the two big things are you register the story hour with your local library, and so they create uh, an event in their calendar with a room and a time, and then you show up and you set up so it's fun for kids, and then you do a reading. And so yeah, it's super simple, and we actually create a ton of um, support materials. We actually send you a I see you at the library box that's got books in it. It's got 50 American flags, so you can have all the kids and parents waving the flags. And we provide a lot of materials to make the story hour as fun and engaging for kids as possible.
Good. So someone is not kind of left on their own. They've got a support team. They got a support network that's going to
Yeah.
prepare them for that. And then afterwards, is there any sort of follow-up that comes in afterwards?
Um, not not really. Yeah, we really just try to keep the focus on on August 16th, and getting as many families to the story hour as possible, and then showing them a good time. That's really where we keep the focus.
And is there a target age range for the children for the story time?
Probably, 4 to 9 is
Huh.
is the sweet spot. These are picture books. So any older than that, they may be a little bit disengaged.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. That'd be an interesting thing is having maybe a parallel area where the older children can have access to more age appropriate books that may
Yeah.
keep them a bit more engaged. And now I did, as I said, I was at an event in Texas, I believe, and you had a booth there. And I remember wandering around and looking. You had some pretty interesting books that Brave publishes, things that really would engage children, not just of the youngers, but of the older as well. Tell us about some of the books that you're publishing.
Well, we're a very unique publishing company. Most publishing companies, they partner with authors who have their own story ideas and stories they want to tell that's important to them. And we we took a different approach where the vast majority, 99% of the books that we publish are stories that take place in our universe that we've created. So we sort of have a core belief that if you want to if you want to teach a child something, it starts with sparking their imagination. And so we created this universe called Freedom Island, and there's the good guys, Team Brave, and then the bad guys, Blackheart, Culture the Vulture, characters like that. And there's this epic sort of narrative that's being told, and character arcs that are being developed over from book to book. And it's not that each book leads to the next, like you would think in like a Harry Potter or something like that. There's each book can definitely stand alone, but there's familiar characters and there is an overarching narrative that's being told. So kids sort of fall in love with the world and the characters, and then once you have their imagination, you have their attention, and then every story teaches a very important value. So, like for example, our first book was Elephants Are Not Birds. That teaches, the fact that we are who God made us, and God made us with a purpose. It's not too difficult to realize what sort of is being taught in that story. And the second book was Little Lives Matter. So that talked about the sanctity of life, and then we've had also we've touched on just about every topic you can imagine, and yeah, kids sort of the parents come for the values, and then after 4 or 5 books, the kids fall in love with the characters, and then it's the kids sort of driving wanting to read these books.
So it's almost a cross between, say, maybe a fan fiction where you have, different authors, but it's all in the same universe. There's all the same canon they're
Yeah.
trying to remain
Yes.
within. Not unlike, say, a Veggie Tales, right? Where you had common characters and there
Mhm.
wasn't so much a story arc, but they all fit into this general area. It's a unique situation. I appreciate that. You have to understand my family's business was unique. It was book producers. We didn't
Hmm.
publish, we didn't write, we sat in the middle.
Hmm.
And we did series, and like, so to me that sounds very interesting because it's that little niche. And like you said, if you can get the children engaged with the stories, the lessons come with it, and you're helping parents teach these lessons that, well, very often our schools and even our libraries aren't. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid in New York City, my mother would drop my sister and I off at the public library because it's a safe place for us to read and not worry about it. And
Yeah.
now it would be drag queen story hours and who knows what.
Yeah.
So any other news, any things that Brave Books has coming that the audience might want to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, we are going to be releasing graphic novels and chapter books within the next year. We're releasing season 2 of our first TV show, Iggy Mr. Kirk, probably early next year, and that's been a big success. It's doing really well on Angel Studios and PureFlix and our own streaming platform, Brave Plus. So we've been around for 4 years, but we've done a lot in 4 years, um, and we're sort of becoming a little bit of a well-rounded entertainment company as opposed to how we started, which was a book publisher. But 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 at our core, we we love books probably the most. Books are special, just the way that they activate the mind, and and um and so yeah, we definitely hear from our fans and our families that there's a huge need for safe character building older content in the form of chapter books and graphic novels. So we're aiming to meet that need.
Yeah, I could certainly see that. Again, the graphic novels, we used to call them comic books when I was a kid. But and the chapters, this, like I said, you start out with a niche, and it sounds like it's growing and it's doing well. Where could my audience go to find out more just about Brave Books and the work that you're doing?
Bravebooks.com.
Bravebooks.com, and then see you at the library.com for
Yes.
see you at the library. Again, sounds interesting, some very good stuff. Before we have to call this interview a day, anything else you want to let my audience know about that we should be aware of?
No, just the Brave Books are. I know we're probably like 4 or 5 months away from Christmas, but Brave Books are a great gift for grandkids, nieces, nephews. Obviously your kids. It's a great way to to sort of take advantage of the fact that all kids crave their imagination being sparked, and it creates an opportunity to to not only get in timeless values, but also create conversation between parents and kids or grandparents and kids, and really bring the family together and connect. We're being these screens and devices are doing such a good job at at creating disconnect in the house and between generation, and books are just a proven way to get screens down, bring the family together, hear about a good story, and then have conversations off of that. And so that's what we're aiming to do. And because that's been our purpose from the beginning, the books are really good at doing that. So for example, we have 6 or so pages in the back of every book called a Brave Challenge, and it's fun games and discussion questions that really make it easy to have that family time that and create those core memories and conversations that will last a lifetime.
You have to remember, it was not in the beginning was the video or in the beginning was the podcast. It was in the beginning was the word. And
Right.
yes, story time, reading to your children and grandchildren, very important part of their development, getting them to enjoy the mental activity of reading and imagining. It's wonderful. Trent, thanks for your time. Again, I'll put links in the show notes when it posts to both Brave Books and See What the Library. And hopefully, not only do you meet your goal this year, but you exceed your goal for next year as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate it.